All right, there we go. I'm on now. Okay. Um, I need my phone. Can you let Tammy know that I had to start a brand new screen or screen? Turn my mic down. There we go. Okay. I am so sorry, everyone, about that. What a disaster. Nothing worse than thinking, oh, I'm really prepared. And because I've been sitting here waiting to go live for about 10 minutes. And then I get in the studio, and then all of a sudden they say, you have to download this program. Like, seriously? Anyway, I'm trying to get my table here adjusted. Rain, do you want to come in or you want to stay out? You want to come in? Come on. No. Oh, come on. I don't need all three. I get it. Okay. We're going to be bombarded by dogs. So let me sit down. Oh my gosh. So, hello everyone. I finally got the camera to work. I am so sorry again. And okay, there we go. I think I'm okay now. So, how is everyone doing? I hope you're all doing very well. And again, Charlene, I hope you had a wonderful birthday. For those of you that are in the room, I actually sent Charlene a happy birthday song on her birthday. It was quite funny because in the background, there's Kylo licking his dog dish. It's like, really, you had to do that right now? That is just, So anyway, thank you for, you're so welcome, Charlene. I hope that you had a great day. So let's see, again, so sorry for all of this. So we have Charlene, my sister Tammy, Mandy. Hello, Mandy. How are you? I know Jill and Victoria were in the first stream that, failed. You thought I was washing dishes. Oh boy. So I'm going to give everyone a few more minutes to make their way in. Hello, Jill. Good to see you. This just is, I'm sorry. I'm still a little bit frustrated, I guess, having to scramble like that. I really didn't want to have to scramble. So anyway, I hope you guys all had a really great week. My week was hell, and only because it is extremely busy at work. And yeah, I'm telling you, I'm surprised I still have hair, but that's okay. Anyway, I'm going to flip this painting around so that you can see what I finished about an hour ago. This is the Indian Peafowl from Diamond Art Club. Now that tells you how frazzled I am. I can't even remember where it came from. This painting is amazing. If you guys are looking to get a really nice Diamond Art Club painting, this one is amazing. If you like, of course, peacocks. I'm saying that this is kind of a sneak peek because I will be doing a full post review sometime next week. But do you see all these beautiful colors here? Holy smokes. And guess what? These are those crystals I was showing you last week. These crystals are amazing, but I have them all over in the eyes of the peacock's feathers. And just the painting itself is just, it's gorgeous. I just love this painting. So I wanted to kind of give you guys a sneak peek on this specific painting, and I finally got it done. Now, I would have gotten this done sooner, but I ran out of one of the crystals, and this is the painting I was working on. But it is just gorgeous. Let me see if well, unfortunately, this webcam is tiny and it won't zoom out. There, that's the word I want. But yes, gorgeous. I mean, all over this painting is just beautiful. I love the way it turned out. So this is the sneak peek part of it. So what do y'all think about this painting? Like I said, I think it's just beautiful. It's big too. It's an 83 by 55. This thing is huge. Anyway, I decided that dog hair, since I'm still having a little bit of trouble, with the game system. Now, the problem that I'm having is that we have a all-in-one computer, and we're still trying to figure out how to get this to integrate and still be able to stream at the same time, and still looking up why we're having some issues. So once that is solved, we're going to start that up because I think that would be fun. I think all of you will really enjoy it. So Charlene, you have the peacock in the waiting? Because if you do, you're going to love it. It's, without giving a lot of information on this painting, it's really fun to do, and it works up really nicely. It really does. You're going to have a little bit of confetti, but not a whole lot, which is nice. So I am going to go ahead and kit this little guy up. This comes from Dreamer's Design, and I've not done a Dreamer's Design painting before. It is a square, so yeah, I really do think he's cute, and I love the colors. I love the colors on this guy. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and kit him up and just chat with all of you, see how you're all doing. I don't have a painting ready actually or started at this point because I just finished the peacock one about an hour ago. So, okay, I was going to say if the two May Challenge people are in the room, I was going to show them how far I've gotten with their catchers, but I don't believe they're in here yet. Okay. So I don't know. I know, Charlene, you've worked on Dreamer's Designs before. I don't know much about this company. I do have to say, though, I'm really impressed with their toolkit. And these colors are just beautiful. Super bright. I haven't seen any garbage in this one. Now, has anyone else done a Dreamer's Design painting? Just curious. Where is my... There it is. Now, if any of you have seen the video of me opening this box up, oh my God, it's hilarious. I was almost not going to post it because I was using a steak knife to open the box, and I'm like sitting there going, okay, it's time to slice and dice. But, oh, well, you know, it is what it is. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so I named that one, and most likely this one. So let's get some tape. Oh man, this room is just so tiny. You need to be super, super thin to get around. And that I am not. Oops. So I need that. And oh, before I sit down, I need some scissors. But I am going to show you guys the progress on these drill catchers that I'm making. That's if I can move around in this room without knocking everything. Boy, I'm telling you, I need a bigger house, guys. I really need a bigger house. All right, here we go. So these are not completed yet. These are still in the making. But these were the drill catchers that were part of the May challenge. So here's one of them. And I'm going to be dressing these up with some crystals at the base and putting some decals inside these. And then here's the other one. Now, I believe, oh gosh, Susie wanted hers in a lime green. So this is lime green and then a darker green here to kind of give it a little bit of color contrast. And then I plan on putting some darker purple inside here. But these are super, super nice. I really love working with these. So that's those. That's what I've been working on too. Okay, let's catch up. I took several, let's see, I heard about the symbols and the prices, so I haven't bought from any. Yeah. Let's see, took several tries. What took several tries, Tammy? I heard they are going to come out with rounds soon. I might try a small kit in rounds from them, but no big kits. Yeah, you know what? This, like I said, this is my first. I've never tried Dreamer's Design. And I think one of the biggest reasons why I didn't is I wasn't really impressed with their paintings before their actual new release of 2.0. And I'm missing something. What am I missing? Boy, I'm just not doing well today. Nope, it's not there. All right, well, shoot. It's probably on the floor. All right. What did I do with it? I can't believe this. It was sitting right. Well, you got to be kidding me. No, it's missing. Oh, well, I ain't going to worry about it now. So, I guess I'm going to have to get labels now. I don't know what I did with my schematics. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Is it? Nope. All right, well, it's not there either. All right, just make sure it didn't fall on the ground. Knowing me, it would. Well, that is just crazy. It was just here. Where'd it go? There it is. I'm telling you. I'm still flustered, guys. Took you several tries to open the box. Yes, it did. I don't know what type of tape he was using, but holy smokes, that was some tape. So that was just it. All I could do is laugh because all I can think of is, oh my God, I'm going to cut myself and this isn't going to be pretty. So yeah. Sorry, guys. Just give me 2 seconds here. Anyway, so Charlene, how was your birthday? How did it go? What did you do? Just gonna, I can't talk and cut at the same time. Oh boy. So Mandy, I saw that you came in. How are you doing? All right. Kylo, get out of there. Sorry, just two seconds here, guys. Just let me, I can't talk and cut at the same time. I'll probably end up taking my finger off. Oh boy, here we go. Right at the edge. There we go. All right. I am doing well, Mandy. Thank you. It was very quiet. I stayed in my PJs, ordered Chinese takeout, and watched movies all day. Ooh, that is a great birthday. I see. What is this? I need that tape for Christmas. You know, I have to say this. I need Rob to wrap all of my gifts or anything that I need to mail out, because man, can that man rap. It was like, wow, that is amazing. And I have to say, I tried the mud that he sent me, and wow, that is awesome stuff. I don't know what it was, but holy smokes, was that nice. I've been using it, and I've only had to change the mud once, and I've been using it since Friday. So whatever it is, it's really nice stuff. You have to get used to it, though. It's not easy to get used to. Let's see, this is 10. So anyway, I just thought maybe I could share with you guys about my week. You know, Manitoba is basically opened up, or in phase 2 of opening. And so that means that we are starting to go more into the office and work less from home, which I'm okay with. I have to be honest. I'm okay with that. But this is like the busy time of the year for the lawn and garden. You know, I don't think I've ever told you guys what I do. I work as a inventory coordinator is what it's called, but it's basically I order all of the inventory where I work and put it in our system and basically just manage it. I do have to invoice all of it and so on. And we order from John Deere and a few other places. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think we've probably ordered from 5 or 6 major companies or manufacturers, and then we order from little companies as well. And because this year has just been it's just been a horrible year. We're scrambling to order equipment. The majority of our lawn and garden stuff was ordered before February, and we have had it since February, but it's just been selling out left and right. So we are now scrambling to replenish what we have been selling out. And unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, we have not been able to get equipment. It's almost impossible. Either there's issues with their suppliers on their end, or they just have sold out completely. And it's just totally crazy. So the whole thing with me is that this last week, not only do we have equipment coming in, we've been scrambling to call other dealerships from North America, and I'm talking Canada and in the United States, to try to find equipment, because we have customers that want to buy this stuff, and we can't get it in. We just can't get it in. Hello, Diamond Works. How are you? So yeah, it's just been crazy. So last night I was like really hoping that I could get home early. I had a post review that I wanted to do, and I think it was around 8 minutes past 4 o'clock. I get an email from one of the managers asking me to place an order for, I believe it was 75 units. I was like, seriously? I want to go home. So I didn't get out of work until about 6:15. And I think I got home around 7 o'clock. I was just so mentally exhausted. It was pathetic. I was like, I can't tell you how many dealerships we were calling, and just, it's like a frenzy trying to find equipment. It is just crazy. How are you doing? I'm doing really good. So I live in deer country outside of Milan. Is that how you say it? Milan or Milan? Moline? Moline. Sorry. Moline. Mr. Review just yelled it out. So, okay. And I really do apologize. I can barely see the screen. So I hope I'm going to pronounce your name correctly. Is it Selena? If it's not, can you, I'm really sorry. Okay. So yeah, it's really crazy. Anyway, so that was my week, just trying to get all of the equipment settled and orders done, and it's just been one of those things. And I cut this too long. So what was that?
Cecilia.
Cecilia. Beautiful name. Cecilia, it is nice to see you.
I'm your proofreader.
He's my proofreader. Unfortunately, the way I'm set up, I can barely see my computer, so I do apologize, everyone. Yeah, Mr. Review. I just love him to death. He's quite the character, I can say that much. What does he say? I slaved over those hot dogs for hours. Come. Yeah, Mr. Review likes to say he slaves over a lot of things. So which one is this? This is 21. I don't even think I'm close to one yet. And this is 24. So I'm just going to get these all in order. 23, 25, 20, and 22. So Tammy, Cecilia, that is such a beautiful name, Mr. Review Channel Support. So Tammy, my sister Tammy has been asking about when Canada is going to open the border. And I'm honestly, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. The only thing I could suggest to you on that one is if you honestly feel safe doing so, you could always purchase airline tickets, but I don't know. Unless you know for sure, you can cross the border at the time that you guys want to come. And I think all of that's going to be based on the number of cases that is in the States at the time is going to determine if the Canadian border will open. Just for those of you that don't know, my sister Tammy lives in Washington State, which is where I'm originally from. And she wants to come up and visit us here in Winnipeg. Or I should say Winterpeg. Although it is really nice. It's a little chilly today, but it is, last couple of days has been really good. Okay, Jill. Okay, yeah, I can't because they're non-refundable. But so she wants to come up and visit us here in Winterpeg. And the problem is Canada has basically closed the border, which I completely understand why. So at this point, it's hard to say when the border will be open. And as I said, I think that is going to all determine or be determined on the number of cases that still remain in the US. Now, I am going to be honest about saying in 14 days, you may find out that there are a lot more cases popping up. So I think you know what I mean by that. I hope not. I hope that's not the case. I really do. But because of all of the activity that's been going on there, it wouldn't surprise me if, lots of cases do pop up. And believe me, I'm all for what's going on down there as long as it's done safely and I can't think, safely and without creating havoc. All of the looting and violence is a little too much, but I'm all for the rest of the peaceful part of it. It started already in LA. Yeah, see, that's what I was worried about. So that if that continues, if the numbers start climbing, they're not going to open the border. So my suggestion to you would be, I would wait. I wouldn't do anything. And you might want to consider, we would love to have you. Honestly, we would love to have you. I would love to have you here. But I think, I don't think they're going to open the borders anytime soon because of that reason. I could be wrong, but that's my worry, to be honest. So, and it's, I don't know if anyone else has been watching what's been going on, but it is just, it breaks my heart. It just really breaks my heart. that all of that craziness is going on. Like I said, I totally understand it. I probably would be one of those people that would be hand in hand with everyone else, all the peaceful ones. But I don't know. It just it's crazy. So here it goes. 19. So what does everyone have for this upcoming week? Any plans going on? Is there anything happening? Or we get all this stuff organized here. 5. What number is this? This is 20. Oh, I've got 2 of those. Right now, basically all we're going to be doing is I'm going to be working on my craft room actually pretty soon. I am going to redo the walls and get this craft room a little bit more organized so I have a little bit more space. But the walls are really dark, and that's one of the reasons why I need a lot of light when I do my videos, because the room is just dark and the light in the room doesn't give me enough light. So I had to purchase a couple of different lights to help brighten up everything. And I'll tell you, I'm planning on redoing the walls, painting it like a bright white, so that gives it that illusion that it's brighter in here than it actually is. So just one of those things I plan on doing. I have 4 days off next month, which I'm really looking forward to. Although I have to say I'd rather be in Mexico. But trying to get this house started and getting it ready. Because Mr. Review has told me he is going to retire. And I'm like, you are? Yeah, he's going to retire. So it kind of scares me. I don't know. I just hope it all works out. It's kind of a scary thing when you get to that point in your life when you know you're getting ready to retire and you don't know for sure if you want to or if you can afford to. So it's just one of those things. Where did my... Okay. So that's there. Oh, my watch just went off. So yeah, Mr. Review told me he was going to retire, and I don't even remember if I said anything. You've earned it. Okay, Mr. Review earned it. You guys must think I'm really mean. But nah. So I wanted to bring up something. My sister will laugh, and I really don't have the most pleasant singing voice in the world. But I want to know if my sister can tell me something. If she remembers this jingle, and you guys will probably laugh when I do this. So Tammy, if you remember, please let me know. And sing along. Let's see, what was it? Now I can't remember the jingle. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. You can do it at a trot. You can do it at a gallop. You can do it real slow till your heart don't palpitate. Just don't be late. Do the people. Do you remember that song? She's probably laughing. Because that jingle is actually for the Washington State. Yeah, she's laughing. The Washington State Fair. And for the last week and a half, that's all I've had in my head. Yes, it's for the fair. And so my question to you is, do you think that they're going to have the fair this year? Probably not. Yeah, she's rolling. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is I watched this video. Oh gosh, what was it? I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. And their theme was the 60s and 70s. And some of the things that she was bringing up, it reminded me of a lot of this stuff when we were growing up. But one of the things that she talked about was state fairs and who her favorite singers and actors and actresses were. And I just laughed because the whole time I was thinking, oh my gosh, great memories, but silly. I mean, just things that you kind of take for granted and then you think, So I thought I would share with you a couple of things that happened when we were kids. My sister will laugh. And what happened, especially to me, because I was very short and stumpy when I was a kid, and I'm tall and stumpy now. So, but I was always the very shy type person, and I was always a follower. I was never really a leader of the pack. Every year during the summertime, we would go visit our grandparents that lived in a small town called Graham in Washington State. And if you know Washington State well, it's just outside of Tacoma or Puyallup, actually, sorry. But Tacoma was probably about another 30 minutes away. But when we were little, we just really enjoyed going to my grandparents' house during the summertime. It was something that we always looked forward to. And what would ultimately happen is my parents would put us on a plane, and we would spend the entire summer out with our grandparents. So usually it was about 2.5 months. And I loved it. It was probably the best childhood memories that I could ever describe, is spending the time with my grandparents and those 2.5 months. But unfortunately, when we were that young, we lived in California. That wasn't the unfortunate part, but we lived in California. And unfortunately, by the time my parents came to pick us up because of school and everything, we had to leave about a week to 2 weeks before the Puyallup Fair. And we always wanted to go to the Puyallup Fair. So when we actually moved back to Washington and had our first experience at the Puyallup Fair, it was fun. We had a great time. But that jingle always sticks to my head. But another thing I wanted to share with you, this, as I said, my sister will probably laugh. We had this thing about spending time with our cousins. They would come out and visit us, and my grandparents lived on, I believe it was 15 acres, although I could be wrong. And they had a pool, and they always had like 3 cows, and they had 3 ponies, and we would ride the ponies every summer. We just loved that. One thing though, my grandmother always said to us kids, we were not to go into the forest. We had to stay where she could see us. Tammy, I don't know if you remember that, but I remember it very clearly. And one day it was me, my sister, Tammy, and my other sister, and I believe it was 3 cousins. We all decided that we were going to go through the forest and play follow the leader. Now, all the big kids were first, and the smaller ones, we kind of, were at the end of the pack. And so we were going through the forest, and we're trying to be very, very careful so that my grandmother didn't know we were back there. And everyone started jumping over this big tree that was on the ground. But because I was short and stumpy, I couldn't jump over the tree. I had to step on top of it and get over it that way. So I step on the tree, which probably was dead for years. And the next thing I know, I can't see in front of my face. It was nothing but a blur. And it felt like I was getting shot with pins and needles, hot pins and needles all over my body. And I couldn't move. I was completely frozen. And I remember that. I couldn't see anything because whatever was in front of me or attacking me, completely took out what was in front of me. And I froze. The next thing I remember is my sister Tammy pulling me through the forest and continued to yell at me, move, run, move. And I think at that time I was in shock because I just barely remember some of this stuff. The others were in front of us, yelling at my grandmother, who was watering her plants in the front and trying to open up the gate so that my sister can pull me through. My grandmother noticed what was going on and screamed at all of us to run to the water. And she was, like I said, she was watering her plants. And she's like, run to the water, run to the water. And I remember all of us running through the stream of water that she had going. And the next thing I remember, I was thrown in a bathtub. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened. When I stepped on that dead log, I ended up putting my foot through a hornet's nest. And that's why I couldn't see in front of me, because I was being attacked and literally a swarm of bees were all over me. I had a pair of shorts on and a tank top. So I had bees everywhere. And when my sister pulled me out, they stung her, and the swarm of bees decided that they were going to follow us and continue, their attack, I guess. I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, I just crushed their home, and so they were literally following us. So the reason why my grandmother kept telling us to run to the water is because the bees would have not gone through the water. So, and it did work. It turned the bees away and they went back to their destroyed home. I'm so sorry, bees. So meanwhile, my sister, I'm not sure what happened, what they did with her, but they took me and put me in a bathtub of lukewarm water and baking soda. And they sat me in there for, 30 minutes or so, while the rest of the crew got to go in the pool. And I wanted to go to the pool. I didn't want to sit in a bathtub of baking soda, but no. I guess my grandmother knew what she was doing. I I don't remember, Tammy, you might be able to tell us, but I think I was 10 years old when this happened. I'm not sure though. Sorry, I opened up the bag before that. So I sat in that tub, and my grandmother, I think what she did was call the doctor because she wasn't, uh-oh. Oh, that's right. Okay. She wasn't really sure if she should take me to the emergency room with all those with the amount of stingers I had. And I did it again. So after 10 minutes, she got me out of the tub and put my swimsuit on and told me, you know, go ahead and go into the pool. And I thought, okay. So I went in the pool. Meanwhile, of course, it started stinging because of all of the stingers were still there. But apparently, the doctor told her to go ahead and put me into the pool because the chlorine would help clean out or clean the stings, I guess. Hello, Victoria. So, if I was not mistaken, I had well over 60 stingers. I had, this is funny, I had gotten stung in 2 places on my face, one on the upper right part of my lip and one on the lower left part of my lip. So I had 2 big fat lips, but I had stingers all up and down my arms and my legs. And I have never forgotten that ever. In fact, now when I see a bee, and you can ask Mr. Review because he will definitely tell you, yes, I see a bee and I run. Literally will run away from them. I am so scared of getting stung. And when I do get stung, I'm allergic to bees at this point. Not severely allergic to them, but I swell up really bad, and it's just horrible experience. So that was one of the worst experiences I've had with my grandmother's at my grandmother's house. But I miss those times. I miss the forts that we used to build and watching the cows destroy the forts within hours of building them. And there was one time that my middle sister, she decided that, our grandmother told us that we couldn't go into the forest, but she assumed that meant only by foot. So she decided that she was going to go in the forest with one of the ponies, and ended up getting a tree limb that went through her cheek and had to go to the emergency room. Yeah, I remember that too. We did some no-nos when we were growing up. I'm surprised we didn't drive my grandmother insane, but that's what kids are for, isn't it? So her chasing me around the house with a snake. Oh, come on. Now, when I was a little kid, I picked up gardener snakes and put them in cans. And I did not chase you around. Oh, well, yeah, outside of the house, I chased you around the house. Yes, that's true. And she would run screaming with her hands up in the air. I was a little tyrant when I was little, but to be honest, though, I was very shy. I had absolutely, I can't say I didn't have any friends. I did, but I just didn't, I don't know. I don't really know how to put it. I was more of a loner when I was a kid, even in high school. I kind of stuck to myself. And yeah. What do you mean by yes, I did? I had friends. I said I had friends. I just didn't, do a lot with my friends. So let's put it this way. My mother was very strict. If you guys ever have a parent that is really strict, my mother will top it, believe me. I love my mother to death, and I will always forever appreciate everything that she did for us. But my mother was very strict, and she I don't remember if Tammy will remember this or not, but we lived in California when we were young. And our instructions when we got out of school was we were to come home, and my mother would have a specific code that she would do on the phone. So she would tell us what the code was, and we better answer it. Let's just put it that way. So we would come home and she'd say, okay, I'm going to call the house. I'm going to let the phone ring 3 times, and then I will hang up. And the next time it rings, and she only allowed 1 ring, the next time it rings, somebody better answer that phone. Tammy, do you remember that? Because I do. Anyway, we kind of figured out how to get around that. So basically, as kids, what we decided to do is that one of us would be home to answer the phone when she would call to see if we were home. The other 2 would be doing something else, either go to the store and buy candy or something silly or whatever. And my mother also liked to do this. She also loved to surprise us and not tell us that she was going to come home. So I'm pretty sure some of you are thinking, uh-oh. So yeah. One time she called, and I think it was me that was home still, but I think it was my other 2 sisters. They decided that they were going to do something. I don't really remember the full circumstances, but my mom called. I picked up the phone, and about 30 minutes later, she pulls up in the driveway, and it's just me. So she found out quickly that we've been, playing the game. And yeah. And the thing is about things like that, it wasn't just like I got in trouble too. So if one got punished, we all got punished. It wasn't just one. So yeah, I think the punishment for that was, I think we all had to take a chunk of soap in our mouths. Although I could be wrong. There was a lot of things that my mother used to do, but I love my mother to death. And like I said, she, I believe, this is just my belief though. If she hadn't done what she had done, things could have turned out a lot differently, but that's just, what about the chores? I really never went out. Yeah, well, Tammy, you did. I hate to break it to you. I remember, but we're talking about Tustin when we lived right on the Tustin border, that yellow house. I think it was yellow. There was a couple of, that was the time that she found out that we were kind of sneaking out and doing things that we really shouldn't have done. So how about all of you? Have you guys done any strange, wacky things when you were kids? I know Mr. Review did. Mr. Review actually built bombs. And yeah, that was some of the stories he told me when he was growing up. I thought, holy smokes, and you're still alive. I'm surprised his parents didn't kill him. I babysat a lot when you guys were in the house. Yeah, well, maybe true. I don't remember the babysitting part. But I know Kim did a lot of things that she shouldn't have done. And we all got in trouble for it. But that's what I remember. Am I on that one? Yeah. So those were the days. I also remember my oldest sister, who is Tammy B. She would come home from school after, I would be the first one. I was the first one that was home from school. And Tammy would come home from school. She's 4 years older than I am. And she would literally come in the house and look at me and say, get out of that chair. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Whatever happened to first come, first serve? And she's like, get out of the chair. And if I didn't get out of the chair, she'd pull me up. So I remember those days too. But no, you know, I guess when you're older or when you're the oldest, you have that right. It was not your chair. What does that say? It was mean. I was, what? It was my chair. No, it wasn't your chair. It was Dad's chair. You just wanted that chair, which is okay. I thought that was one thing about growing up, because we were 4 years apart, and I'm sure I was a pain to her when we were growing up. So I do apologize, sis, for that. Mine. But yeah, so when we moved from California back to Washington State, that was kind of an interesting thing too. So, sorry. So does any of you have some really interesting stories to tell about your childhood? And yeah, that's it. Okay. Any of you out there had a chore? Yeah, that's a good question. Any of you out there had a chore to do when you came home from school? Ours was, we had simple chores. I have to be honest. I mean, our chores weren't really that difficult. I think mine was, I had to do the dusting. And I think Kim was the one that had to vacuum. And I think you, Tammy, I think you were the one that had to do the dishes. But I can't remember. My memory is going. I'm back. Welcome back, Jill. I really don't remember the full scope of what we did as far as chores were concerned when we were growing up. But I do know that if we didn't do our chores, we got in a lot of trouble. And it wasn't fun. And then let's see. I think as far as chores were concerned for me, I'm sure. Yeah, we had. Oh gosh, when we moved to Washington State, my chore was I had to do a lot of cleaning the barn up and stuff. Hello, is it Nub Bond Diamond Painting? Sorry, I'm reading it from afar, so I hope I said that right. Welcome. How are you? It's nice to see you. My mom gave us each a chore. It had to be done before she came home, which is true. I had kitchen, Kim had bathrooms. Okay. Yeah, see, I was right. Who did the vacuuming, though? Someone had to vacuum. And I didn't want, well, what kid at that age wants to do their chores? Please. Just call me Linda. Okay, Linda, it was nice to meet you. I'm hoping that you enjoy the live. We got another about 10 minutes, but welcome. Okay, Tammy, that is not true. You and Kim didn't do them all. Okay. I did do some of my chores. I just didn't do them all. I try to find ways to get away from it. But unfortunately, like I said, kids are kids, and we try to do things a little bit differently. And it might not always be what we would like to do, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, and by the way, I don't like snakes anymore, to be honest with you. I see a snake and I freak out. I'm like, ah! So, yeah, no. I can't remember. Does anyone remember or have a funny story to say about their first experience of driving a car? Any of you? I would love to find out how your first car driving, or not test, but lesson went. Because my driving lesson was not fun. Here's a little tidbit about Mom. She told my kids I know. Mom has a little bit of, I think she's, I don't know. I love my mom. Like I said, I love her to death. She's my mom. But there's a lot of things she has forgotten about. Lots of things. I mean, I could be wrong. But anyway, anyone have any interesting stories about their first driver's lesson? There we go. That's nice and full. Because my story, I'll tell you, we had driver's ed, and the cars that we learned on were automatics. We did not have an automatic car in our house or at our house. All of ours were standards. So I had to learn how to drive a standard on top of driving, on top of driving an automatic. And my stepfather, I love him to death, and he passed away quite a few years ago. But what he would do is he would take me in the car, and he decided my first lesson was going to get the car from the bottom of the hill and move it forward up the hill. We sat there for probably an hour and a half. Literally, I wanted to kill him because I'd never driven a standard. So holy smokes with it. What I was in tears by the time we got back. It was horrible. But because of that lesson, I learned how to drive a standard, and I love to drive standards. Unfortunately, it's hard to find one these days, but that was a lesson I don't know if I ever wanted to pass on to my kids. That was just not fun at all. Big Blue had 4 on the column. Huh? Here's a little... She is a Looney Tunes. What? What are you talking about? Get all this garbage out of the way. So what are you talking about, Tammy? I don't understand. No, here we go. Shifters on the steering column. Oh, well, yeah, we have a car that has one of those slapsticks in it, which I don't use because I'm always constantly looking for the clutch. So I don't use it. But oh, Big Blues. Oh, yeah, I remember the truck. Yeah, I remember that truck. I used to spend hours listening to music in that truck. So that, it is what it is. I remember also, I mean, this is kind of off the beaten path, but I did a video on Shamrock. I don't know, Tammy, if you saw it, but Shamrock was one of the horses that we had. He was mine, and I loved him to death. He was just a phenomenal horse. Just loved him. And we had him. He always seemed to be the magician in the herd that we had. I think at the time we might have had like 6 or 7 horses. But he always seemed to be able to magically get out of his pen, and we couldn't figure it out. And back then, there was no thing called cell phones or video cameras. So we didn't know how he was actually getting out of his pen. But one day, I put him in his pen. He was by himself. And I don't know if all of you have heard the term, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. In Shamrock's world, that's exactly what he lived. Everything was better on the other side. So he would literally try to outsmart everyone and get to where he wanted to go, even though he had plenty of grass, green grass, I might say, or might add. He had plenty of grass and everything, and he would get out of his pen to get to the other side so that he could eat the grass over there. So one day, me and my mother stood and watched him. It took about, I would say, 35 minutes for him to figure this out, but he would stick his neck. We had pole fencing, and he would stick his neck underneath one of the poles, bring it up. He would start to move to the side. So he'd move like this. So that was basically moving the pole over. And then he would let it roll off of his bum. And then he would work on the next one. And there was 5 poles. So he only needed to do the first 3. And then all he had to do was just walk over. That horse figured out how to do that. Could not believe it. We sat there in complete awe watching this horse take the first 3 or the top 3 poles, move them off to the side, and then let him roll off of his back. So my mother decided, you know what, we got to figure this out. So she had my stepfather put these hooks on the corners of the poles. And every time we put him in that pen, we would have to take a latch and latch it down so that when he goes in there, he couldn't get out. The first time we had him in the pen, he kind of gave it about, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, made sure nobody was, around. And he started working on that pole fence, and he could not get out. He was so frustrated. He started running around and kicking and throwing a fit. But he couldn't get out. He didn't get out from that point on. But he was a very, very smart horse. I couldn't believe how smart this horse was. And I miss him. He was a very, very sweet, just super horse. What time is it? Okay. So I'm just trying to think if there was a couple of other things that this horse would do that just blew everyone away because he was just so smart. But right now I can't really think of him. Anyway, guys, it is now 5:27, and I do apologize for the problem earlier. I'm hoping to get the game system up and ready for next week, keeping my fingers crossed. We have to still figure the kinks out on that, but I'm looking forward to doing that because I think it would be really fun to get everybody involved in that as well. And that's one of the reasons why I want to do it, is because I want to get everyone involved and have a great time doing that. So by saying that, I think it's time for me to leave. Thank you so much for everyone joining and having or coming in. And I hope to see you guys next week. Everyone, please take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll talk again real soon, guys. Bye for now.